coming next. This is coming next.
No one wants to commentate with me. You guys
Oh,
suck.
Zane's coming in.
Yay.
Yes, I can fly.
I'm gonna turn your mic on.
It's on.
I tuned into the stream just to hear Enrique say, "I'm not the only meta in this game." I'm not the only meta in this game.
We're trading intimidates.
Wow,
here
that, can you edit that out, please? Let's see, we got Dusclops and Mawile versus Landorus and Cresselia.
Dusclops' Frisk revealed that Landorus does have the Grand EMZ.
So Mawile will either protect or will switch out. Right now we're trying to see if who's going to try to get Trick Room up. A few mind games being played right now. Because Dusclops could go for it, but Cresselia could counter, or one of them could go for it and they would still get set up. Either way, that Mawile is under heavy pressure from that Lando right now.
Oh.
Yep. A retreat from Mawile, bring in, oh, its own Landorus.
Ooh, getting 2 intimidates off on that Landorus.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what the Dusclops and the Cresselia go for. Dusclops also comes back. Ooh, to Celesteela. So making sure that an Earthquake
Ooh,
and a Ground
Andre's-
DMZ don't affect it. Oh, is this going to be a wasted D move? It
Oh,
might
it will be.
Yo, wow. Fantastic play from Andre.
Ooh, going into that Mawile slot.
That was beautifully played. A good read from Andre.
It was a tough call from Dad because he still left it open for the Trick Room possibility for Dusclops.
It's interesting to see what kind of Celesteela this will be. Because lately I've been seeing offensive Celesteelas with Assault Vest. D-Train coming in. And there's
Oh.
Protects. So we got on Celesteela.
Great switch by Dat. Get the 4 times resisted into that U-turn.
Oh, a Shukaberry. This stuff's club is actually proving to be very, very useful with its Frisk ability. Like I said, knowledge is power in this game, so it definitely helps to see what item your opponent might have.
Now Andre's in a very good position to set up Trick Room with Celesteela out on the field and Leech Seed up against that Heat Train.
Puts that in a kind of a difficult position because he could keep the Heatran in, so it'd slowly be whittled away if he keeps it in. To protect. I wanted to see if the Dusclops has Will-O-Wisp, because that would be very detrimental to both the Kangaskhan or the Landorus. Ooh,
Oh,
a
with the
burn.
Burn.
Rain Dance. Interesting. Yeah, I can understand the Rain Dance. He does have a Bulu, and it protects the Mawile and Celesteela. Now, assuming this is Omega Kangaskhan, he could have the option of not making evolving to keep his scrappy ability.
The Cresselia comes back with the ability to reverse Trick Room.
Ooh, Dusclops coming out again.
And getting those intimidates off on Kangaskhan.
Both players playing a little hesitant right now, trying to fill each other out, trying to see what the other one wants to commit to. Ooh, a protect from Kang.
Passing up on the fake out ability, just playing it safe, avoiding the Leech Seed. So I'm assuming this Landorus might switch out again with U-turn,
because it does not want to take an Ice Beam from Cresselia, and it's proving to be very essential in this matchup for Andre. Ooh, a Hammer Arm.
And after Intimidate into the resist, it's not going to do a lot.
So this is the first commitment we've seen in a sunny day. We have some weather wars going on here. Both interesting techs from both of their Trick Room setters. Ooh,
And that special defense drop will be big. That's going to put it within KO range.
Well, now Dat has to decide what he wants to switch into, or if he carries Protect on Landorus, if he's just going to keep it in to try to bait out another attack and maybe get a safe switch in on the Cresselia.
Otherwise, this is a very good opportunity for Andre to just throw out the Earthquake, anticipating this Heatran switch-in, switching out his own Landorus instead.
With Dusclops. Yeah, I think he realized that the Landorus is very important in this matchup, especially since both of his main attackers are physical besides Heatran. But Heatran is very weak to Landorus. Icy Wind, reducing some speed.
Just making him faster under Trick Room that Dusclops is capable of setting up.
That reads into that. So now I would assume the Landorus switches out for Heatran. The problem is that with that Icy Wind, like you said before, Dusclops can go for a Trick Room, and now both of them would be faster in the Trick Room. The problem is I don't know if Celesteela has anything to take advantage of a Heatran switch-in. It looks like we're going for a Helping Hand. For a U-turn.
Interesting choice of target.
That also understands how important Landorus is in this matchup. As I predicted, going for the Heatran. The Flash Cannon not going to do too much. And the Dusclops again with the Rain Dance. Looks like Cresselia is going last, so maybe it actually went for the Trick Room this time.
No, it started off with the Helping Hand.
Oh, it did, that's right. So depending on the speeds, if Cresselia goes for a sunny day and then Heatran with the Heat Wave, that should knock out Celesteela. But it all depends on if they know their speeds. Yeah, Dusclops not willing to stay in. Oh, interesting. Well read by Andre. I mean, by Dat. From that info, it seems that his Heatran might be slower than this Cresselia, or faster than this Cresselia, so he had to get the sunny day up first. But now this Heatran, looking down, this Landorus does not want to be in this position and switches out correctly. Brings in his own Landorus.
Depends on how my life's going, but I usually update it at least once every week or two.
Now, did the Landorus stay in?
And usually if we schedule a new tournament, I make sure to
Celesteela not trying to take any chances here.
Another Hammer Arm. Yeah, Andre really wants that Heatran gone. I think Dat's reading into that and understands how important it is to keep it around.
Another Icy Wind lowering Landorus' speed even further.
And even an Icy Wind, which is only like, what is that, 55 power, and its spread, still does a lot to Landorus with that 4 times weakness.
I would not anticipate Andre's Landorus staying in here at this point.
It really seems that in this matchup, the first one to go down a Pokemon is definitely going to be at a disadvantage because it won't be able to switch
comes
out.
back out. We haven't seen that since the first turn. Getting its Intimidate off on Landorus.
Well read by Andre. Knowing that most likely will not go for an Earthquake, but is going for the Icy Wind. Neither of Andre's Pokemon are too bothered by that.
Despite that speed drop, Mawile still has access to Sucker Punch, which could be enough to knock out Dad's Landorus at this point.
That's very true, and with no Psychic Terrain or any way to block priority moves. Those where a little bit of Mind Games comes into play, because you can either hard switch out the Landorus and go into Heatran, or Andre could read into that and go into the Landorus.
Well, Dad's substituting the Landorus into the Kangaskhan.
Oh, did he read it? Oh, is the Mawile going into that spot?
Oh, and
Oh, a double switch. Heatran, Kangaskhan. Let's see what the Mawile does.
Dad taking no chances with that Sucker Punch, as it would do a lot of damage to both Pokemon.
Now let's see if Andre capitalizes on this and called the switch outs. Good Giga Drain.
Oh, and the power
Oh,
punch into
he
the
did call it.
Kangaskhan.
Well done, Andre. Called that most likely he was going to switch out to Landorus. Risky, but that put him in a great board position in this game.
And Power Up Punch was the best option, as both remaining Pokemon were weak to it.
So in this case, even the Sucker Punch would definitely knock the Kangaskhan out. The Heatran, not quite sure, but he has to watch out for the fake out on Kangaskhan.
Kangaskhan still threatens with the fake out potential. And both Pokemon are very weak to the fire that Heatran has, especially under sunlight.
He's bringing on Dusclops. I think he's hoping that a Heat Wave does not knock him out. Oh, never mind. Lander's coming in, but at the same time, I still think he's hoping a Heat Wave doesn't knock out his Dusclops, because he really does need that to get the rain back up.
Oh, and Kangaskhan actually protecting, not even trying to fake out.
See how bulky that Dusclops is? It's going to be close. Good awareness by Dad, though, not Mega Evolving, keeping that Scrafty ability, because now, assuming that Kangaskhan does outspeed Dusclops, can hit it and knock it out, and therefore stop the rain from ever occurring again, giving Heatran the advantage, and swinging the momentum back into Dot's favor.
Both players have to be very conscious of the timers at this point in time, because they're both running very low.
It's like, it has all these settings, so I had it set so it's just picking up like this much. So, any noise from over there. Or over here. That's good.
Ooh, a Protect switch.
And Dusclops goes for the
there
trick
it
room.
is. I'm not quite certain why that play was made by Dot. We did have good board position, and he could have knocked out the Dusclops. I'm not sure if he was maybe scared of a priority move. Or maybe an Earthquake from Celesteela, but either way, I think that was a misplay by Dot.
The Cresselia has the capabilities of just reversing Trick Room right now.
Rain going back up with Dusclops. Let's
With
see how
its burn, Dusclops is not going to last another turn.
was the last one to turn out Rain. Oh,
Oh, playing Weather Wars.
well called by Dot, knowing that even if he does go for Rain Dance, this is the last turn that Dusclops will be able to fight.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
And now given the weather advantage to Dot, Andre it has the speed control, but definitely not the weather control.
So what I do when I play these games is I try to do completionist goals. Find everything that you can.
Mawile's back out, but both of these Pokemon are slower than Heatran. And in the sun with weakness to Heat Wave, it's not looking good for Andre.
Now he has to decide whether he'll double up into Heatran or if he thinks Heatran will protect and he can double up into the Cresselia.
Oh, and the helping hand.
Because you can go through and buy all the clothes available in each room. And then what you do,
The Mawile is faster than the Heatran.
Oh, and it
is
just
not
lives.
find your coffee.
But is this enough?
You ask them what item they have.
It is enough. Well called. So that's some very good calculations going into the next game. Knowing from that range, a power-up punch does take Heatran tremendously low, even though it's just power-up punch.
You just buy all the hats at once.
That huge power from Mawile paying dividends.
Oh, I like my backpack today. Then you buy all the backpacks at once.
Landorus resetting Mawile's +1 that it had just received.
To get all the clothes from the other room.
The Trick Room is still up, but Dad has the opportunity at any point to reverse it.
Because Andre no longer has his own Trick Room setter. I think that's what Dad is going to do. Let's see if Andre read into this.
No, the Iron Head. Oh,
No. Andre
Andre's
still
setting
took.
up for the long haul, though, putting the Leech Seed into the Cresselia.
Andre still understood that even if he didn't knock out the Landorus, he could still set up his board and get in a better position to take the end game.
And everyone's favorite, Payback. It was awful.
But as you said before, both players need to watch their time, which I do like about this new timer.
I still want
Andre getting another Intimidate off onto Das Landorus, trying to reduce the damage. It's going to be... Oh, and the Earthquake. Nothing will be taking damage this turn.
Well called by Andre. Here comes the Icy Wind, and that should knock out the Landorus.
Oh, is the Giga Drain enough? And it is. That will trigger a Beast Boost from Celesteela and put it back to full health.
Now let's see what kind of Beast Boost the Celesteela gets, because that will be very important. And it is
Special attack.
it is an offensive type.
And
So
with
the-
Cresselia no longer having the option to switch out, Andre has the ability to just whittle down this Cresselia with Leech Seed.
Andre's looking in a great position. He just has to make sure that he keeps his time in check.
We've seen Dat's Kangaskhan protect every turn that it's come out onto the field so far. We'll see if it fake outs here. Oh, and there's the Mega.
I think he did well preserving his scrappy ability, but he never really took advantage of it. And so he might as well just Mega before. Because he
Because
needs...
Kangaskhan does get additional bulk when it Mega evolves, so it could have more HP at this point in time. Oh, and the low kick.
It won't do enough though, because that's just neutral damage.
And now this +1 Giga Drain is enough to take out the Kangaskhan and get another Beast Boost into Celesteela.
And that's what's scary about an offensive Celesteela. With its bulk, and if it starts getting offensive stat raises, it just starts snowballing through teams.
The Play Rough not enough to knock out the Cresselia, however, triggering the berry. Leech Seed will now take in
Ooh, and
having the wrong berry will trigger confusion.
This is good info for Andre going into next game, knowing that Cresselia does have a berry, so it can be taunted if need be.
And with 16 seconds left, Andre locks in the victory.
That was well played by both opponents. They were both very hesitant at the beginning, but eventually one of them committed.
Both players do need to be observant of their timers, however, because that match did come down to the last few seconds.
I think that might have come into play maybe a little bit towards the end, not knowing whether they were going to have enough time or not. So they do have to be conscientious of that. But overall, I think they played well. I think that might have misplayed when he switched out both, what was it, his Landorus for something else? Even though...
Just starting game 2.
It was switching Cresselia and Landorus for
yeah.
Kangaskhan and Heatran.
Yeah.
It's like Ultimate Star Wars right now.
It's what?
Ultimate Star Wars. I guess one's really offensive and the other one's a stall.
I
But
don't want Stall to win. I don't know. Actually, I probably could take it, but I don't want to have to. So.
So it's going to be interesting to see if they switch up the leads or stay the same. I think both their leads did work out pretty well, but neither of them had an advantage. That's why they were switching out so much. Let's see if they change things up a bit.
Oh, and this is looking very different. With Andre leading with Tapu Fini, which we did not see last time, and Dat leading with his Naganadel, which we did not see last time.
So Andre has a slight more advantage. Both of these leads, though, are a little more offensive than the previous. Both of them want to commit to a knockout earlier than before. Now it's going to be interesting to see if that Naganadel actually has enough special attack investment to knock out a Fini, as I've seen Finis take a Sludge Bomb before and live to either munch on their berry or set up a Calm Mind.
Good switch by Dat as both of his Pokemon were weak to ground.
And bringing in the Dusclops, switching out the Fini, not risking the Sludge Bomb calculation. Ooh, and double.
Andre anticipating the Tailwind, bringing in his Trick Room user. And the
Again.
Hammer Arm into the Fini, which will be resisted.
Good call by Dat. Once again, seeing that his Heatran might be important in this matchup. Especially if he has that Celesteela in the back.
Expect that to double into Andre's Dusclops, because if that Trick Room goes up, it could be the very end for that.
Now we have to see if whether this Dusclops has enough bulk to survive a double up.
I forgot if you. I'm out of it.
And the Gondel Snarl,
He's going for the special attack drop on both the Celesteela and the Dusclops.
and that's actually very important for the Celesteela since we saw in the previous game that it's especially offensive Celesteela, followed up by a Moonblast.
And Dat does not target the Dusclops at all, potentially expecting a switch. Getting the Trick Room up, this could be very big for Andre.
That was a good switch by Andre, but that was also a good double up by Dat. Because both of those actually ended up lowering Celesteela's special attack, and now Celesteela is very, very much hindered. And Andre will either have to decide to switch out or just go with this low offense of the Celesteela.
Dat wanting to preserve that Tapu Fini and brings out his Cresselia.
So it looks like he's going to try to reset Trick Room. Ooh, a
an
haze.
interesting tech by Andre to reset those lowered stats.
No, I didn't. Yeah, he flinched me.
Targeting that Tapu Fini spot, but now not doing the super effective damage.
sorry, Steven.
What?
I'm sorry.
Dat with another Snarl to drop Celesteela's special attack again.
That was good recognition by Andre, noticing that neither Pokemon on that side could really touch the Celesteela, barring maybe a Flamethrower from the Naganadel. But that haze was actually very crucial, resetting all the stats and giving Celesteela a chance to actually do some noticeable damage on the Cresselia.
I would expect Andre to target down this Naganadel as it's causing some problems, but instead he goes for the Leech Seed into the Cresselia.
Sunny day. Let's see if this Naganadel actually has Flamethrower. I'd be a little surprising if it didn't, but it is looking like a more supportive Naganadel. It is. It looks like it's fast support. It is an interesting way to run Naganadel. But it's definitely working out. And Dusclops, Trick Rooming, expecting Cresselia to go for a Trick Room as well. So at this point in the match, it's going to come down again to whether Cresselia Trick Rooms or Dusclops does. Dusclops stays in, and Heatran comes back in.
Celesteela trying to stay protected over here.
It doesn't want another Snarl. Naganadel goes for Tailwind. Let's see if Andre read into that and goes for a Trick Room.
Oh, and the Rain Dance. Dat switching out his weather user, and now Andre has the weather. This Naganadel still has its focus sash intact.
So board position isn't too much established for either one. Andre might have lost speed, but Dat lost his sun and his boosted power of his Heatran. So now it's going to have to come back to see who can set up their board position to actually take the first knockout. As you said before, I think Galstel still has its focus sash, so it can still at least live 2 hits.
Andre not taking any chances, moving that Celesteela back out in place for Landorus.
I think that was a good switch, because Naganadel doesn't really seem to have anything to touch the Landorus, and Heatran definitely does not want to be facing down Landorus with an Earthquake.
And both Pokemon on that side of the field, as we said earlier, are weak to ground, so this could be some good board position for Andre.
Comes with Heat Wave.
In the
Good.
rain, not doing much, but getting the burn off on this
Again,
Dusclops.
on that Dusclops. That Dusclops is not having the best time against this Heatran. Now, I'm not sure if we've seen the item on Dusclops, but it seems to be...
I would assume it's an Eviolite. Keeping that already naturally high bulk even higher.
Yeah, he's like, I know this is why I brought it, but
So, barring Pain Split or something, that Dusclops is now officially on a timer. And Andre understands that situation, but so does Dat, knowing that his Heatran is way too valuable in this matchup and needs to keep it around.
Here comes the Earthquake. We'll see if it's going to be enough to bring the Naganadel down to its focus sash.
Finally enough to break the sash.
And easily brings it down.
Now Naganadel can only take one more hit, and anything will do. But it's still applying good pressure to Celesteela.
Celesteela does have the option now, though, to get a Beast Boost by knocking out the Naganadel and resetting that drop.
And for Celesteela not being able to touch Naganadel, and the same for Naganadel. Naganadel has definitely been a nuisance for Celesteela, constantly lowering its offensive presence.
Dad not wanting to lose his Naganadel quite yet, brings back into the Heatran.
Oh, and it looks like we're going to have...
Into the Giga Drain, it's not going to do a whole lot as Heatran does double resist that grass move.
Now let's see if Andre called this... Oh no, went for a Rock Slide. He could get a flinch though, which would be important and would probably stop the Sunny Day from coming up.
Oh, does get the flinch.
We'll never know, but I would assume that probably was the Sunny Day.
Now we haven't seen how much damage Andre's Landorus' Earthquake does, because we do know Heatran has the berry.
Heatran with the Protect, not wanting to take that Earthquake damage. So with the Leech Seed onto the Cresselia, well predicted by Andre. Let's see what this Cresselia does. Goes for a Sunny Day. And Landorus goes for an Earthquake.
Not going to be affecting any of these Pokemon, but Dat does get his weather control back.
And this game's really interesting where both players are trying to gain board position, end up tying on their board position. Where Andre has a slight advantage, but at the same time, Dat now has weather control back and can easily take out this Celesteela, and maybe this Landorus, depending on its EVs.
Dat not wanting to take any more Leech Seed damage, switches out.
Oh, that was a good switch in. Can definitely take that. Celesteela protecting.
Not wanting to take a Heatwave from this Heatran. Landorus with the hammer arm.
Oh, what a
into the
great
Heatran,
read. Is that enough?
and
Yes, it is.
enough to knock out.
Oh,
with the
critical.
hit.
got an Airbnb and crashed
Landorus does have a lot of physical attack, but that critical hit may have mattered.
Andre wasn't willing to risk the Shookaberry calculation, so he just went straight for a hammer arm. And for the first time actually hits Heatran and not into Finny or into Cresselia for once. But that was a crucial knockout because now I'm not sure if that has anything to actually hit this Celesteela with.
And with 1 HP left, Ganondorf's able to reset up Tailwind, giving the speed control back to Dat.
Comes a Muddy Water.
The Muddy Water in the sun is not going to be doing a whole lot of damage, but still does quite a bit to the Landorus. With no accuracy drops, we go for the Earthquake and hit both.
And it seems that now the sun is actually hurting that, whereas before it was trying to help him.
Now Celesteela can set up for the long game with the Leech Seeds, and the Cresselia will come out. Looks like Andre's in very good board position at the moment.
And barring any weird like accuracy drops or anything, it should be Andre's game. Because Celesteela now has Leech Seed in. Landorus is out, not intimidated. And depending on what the item is on Feeny, Feeny is now officially on the timer. The only way I could think of that maybe pulling this back is to possibly Calm Mind.
Going for the Muddy Water, hoping for some accuracy drops. Oh, and it is enough to knock out the Landorus.
Landorus definitely more offensive type, and here comes the Icy Wind.
Dat wanting that speed control. He has Tailwind up, but still going with the Icy Wind to drop speed.
There's a Giga Drain.
Into the Tapu Fini, not enough to get the knockout.
Let's see
but
what
should
kind
be
of
good after
item
the
it
Leech
is.
Seed.
Yeah, seeing from the damage that it did to that Landorus in the sun, it has to be choice specs.
Tapu Fini goes down, giving the Beast Boost to Celesteela.
Yeah. I think the crucial part in this match was when Dat lost his Heatran for essentially a free trade. Andre recognized that he really needed that Heatran gone, and there's the forfeit. And that, once he lost his Heatran, had no answer to that Celesteela.
Well played match by both. Lots of positioning, lots of calculations.
So great gameplay by both. And we'll be right back soon with the finals of this winter PC.